Geekdom has been contributing to the Qatari and the creative economy in such a large way. I'm happy people are being successful doing something that they're passionate about. Everybody was watching anime, but nobody spoke about it. It was like very underground, hidden. It became more acceptable nowadays. People are watching it in the majlis together. Warmest segment in Geekdom is the karaoke. It unites a lot of people. The nostalgia aspect for people like that little kid in you is still there, that wanting to come out and play. And people should nurture that kid. I attended Comic-Con International. The difference between them and Geekdom, that is, they are commercial, pure commercial. We are non-for-profit. The idea is to focus on local talent, to develop them.
Hello and welcome back to Season 2 of the Ajyal Show. Anime, gaming, and cosplay might just seem like hobbies, but to many they're a way of life. In Qatar, these passions have grown into something much larger, a community, a movement, and even a new launchpad for businesses. Today's guest has played a key role in making that happen. He's the Chief Administrative Officer at Doha Film Institute and is the founder of Geekdom, the largest pop culture event in Doha. What began as a small anime exhibition in the Ajyal Film Festival has now grown into a massive celebration of fandom, creativity, and entrepreneurship. From karaoke to robotics, esports to board games, Geekdom has become the home for the Qatar's creative youth. So without further ado, let's welcome Abdulla Al-Mosallam to the show.
Good evening.
Hello, welcome to the show. Honestly, the thing that I thought was the craziest to hear was the fact that you started in finance.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know, how do you go from finance to media?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Finance was education for me. It wasn't my choice. It was a family choice, more or less. But I went to the US and I had to get a degree in finance. But my passion has always been media. My passion has always been anime, gaming. Like that's the things that I grew up with, and I still hold dear to my childhood, I guess.
And was there something while you were studying, maybe in the States, abroad, that made you think, maybe one day I'll find a way to kind of integrate that later on when I move from just doing finance as education?
Honestly, not really, because it wasn't even on my spectrum back then, because there wasn't, I knew it wouldn't be acceptable in Qatar. You're talking about the late 90s, early 2000s, this was... everybody was watching anime, everybody was collecting figures, but nobody spoke about it. It was like very underground, hidden, kind of thing. And it was hard to even know who still watches anime or, is passionate about...
And so after finishing from the States and then coming back here, what made you take the choice of actually getting into media? What was that trajectory like?
I was a banker for many years. I started with Qatar Development Bank, then I moved to Commercial Bank. And I remember I heard about this opportunity within media, within Al Jazeera Children's Channel. And I jumped on it right away. I did the interview. I remember I did the interview I actually arrived from a business trip on Wednesday, did the interview on Thursday, and submitted my resignation even before I knew I was accepted. That's how invested I was. I learned a lot from Al Jazeera Children's Channel, but the amount of original content that the channel was producing wasn't as passionate for me as it wasn't enough for me. And when DFI came knocking, I said yes right away, because I knew that's where I belong.
And when you decided to kind of take the opportunity at Al Jazeera, did you have any maybe doubts, or were you taking into account the risks, and how did you really put your foot down and been like, you know what, I'm going to take this risk and go ahead?
I was scolded by so many people. I was told that it was a career suicide, that I would regret it, I won't be successful as and doesn't have as a future as a banker. But I told them that it's my passion. With Al Jazeera, even though I was in the sector, but I was still doing just finance. I wasn't involved very much in the creative. And that's why I didn't find my place there. even though it was their mandate is amazing, teaching the proper Arabic for children, the proper values for the Islamic world, but I wanted more.
100%. And you know what, when you mentioned like going to DFI, that interview the first time, I feel like there was like a small glimmer in your eyes.
Yeah, because subhanallah, sometimes things just happen. I met Fatma Ramehi, who's my boss now, in a meeting, and we were on opposite side of the table, and we weren't agreeing on something, but I understood what she was trying to say and do, and she understood what I was trying to say and do. So there was an understanding between us that we were both passionate about the same thing. And I volunteered for the first Ajyal Film Festival, and that's how the spark of this major event that we're talking about today.
And how was it like kind of moving from something where like that was, as you said, maybe more traditional feeling media, let's say Al Jazeera, to actually working in festivals or like having something to do with festivals?
When Fatma offered me the job to be the chief admin officer for the Doha Film Institute, my one condition was to be involved in the creative as well, because I feel that's where my true heart is. Even though my education is finance, my passion is within the film. I'm a film buff, and I love arranging, doing exhibitions, and supporting the people that I interact with. Through the festivals, through the events, is just like what fuel me, I say.
Yeah. Like when some people might think of, okay, I'm in a place called Doha Film Institute, I'm gonna use films as my way in, But why was it, or why did you choose maybe anime as something to kind of start to kind of make your own, maybe through the film festival?
It was pure coincidence, to be honest, because as I said, when I met Fatma in the first meeting for the first edition of Ajyal Film Festival, the theme was anime, and the opening film was Hayao Miyazaki's film, which is he's one of my favorite directors. I love all his films, so I pitched it as a one-off idea to go along with an anime-themed festival, and it just boomed beyond our expectations.
And what was it like when you actually, because you said before that everyone watched anime, like when they're growing up in the 90s or something, maybe that's through Space Tune or something, but no one was talking about it. What was it like to actually for the first time see that come to life through the festival?
When I pitched the idea, I wasn't sure who will participate. That's number one. And I wasn't sure who was going to attend, because it was hard for people to show their passion for anime, show their passion for things that are still considered children's things or children's stuff. Even I remember a lot of people who agreed to participated under an alias name. They didn't even want to participate under the real name because it was embarrassing for them. But alhamdulillah, the exhibition was a huge success. We had so many people attend, and they were happy that something like this happened in Doha. And I remember the following year, they were like, please bring, it was called the Otaku exhibition back then, please bring the Otaku exhibition again, please bring the Otaku exhibition again. So we knew that we had something that had to continue.
And you said there were some people that were actually using aliases as a way to kind of hide that. But how do you feel like after starting the Otaku exhibition and seeing like a demand maybe from people to have this in the next years, how do you feel that that's kind of maybe changing the stereotype about Otaku culture or anime or gaming?
Yeah, because it became more acceptable nowadays. Like people, instead of watching anime in your room, now people are watching it in the majlis together. Whenever a new episode is airing, they get together and watch it. So it became more of a group shared thing instead of an individual thing to do.
Yeah. And curiously, like part of the people that did participate in the Otaku exhibition at the beginning, and the same people that might have told you, oh, we want it back, did you find maybe a group of people who are willing to actually help you find a way to also grow that even further for maybe years forward?
Yeah, we had volunteers that joined the event many years, a year after another. And some of them even started a business because they saw that there is a gap in the market. Like the Showdown platform came out of a need that Geekdom was in the esports realm. The volunteers started a company to do the bracket system for the esports tournaments. And they're booming and they're doing amazing right now. And I'm so proud of their work.
So now that you mentioned Geekdom, the word Geekdom, I'm curious to know first, when was the moment that you were like, okay, Otaku exhibition might have been an exhibition one-off, but now I want something that's maybe going to be more lasting than that?
Yeah, it was tough to find something that will fit both, be suitable both in Arabic and English. We moved to Otaku, Turkna al-Huwa, and then we said, no, we need to find something that is, that will stick. And we did a brainstorming session, and shout out to Abdulla Al-Mosallam. She's the one who came out with the name Geekdom, and we all loved it because it combined the word geek and kingdom. And, it's just...
What's awesome is that actually what you said, it combines geek and kingdom. My initial thought was geek and fandom, because at the same time it's also, which is really cool that it could have kind of that double meaning. Now, I'm curious to know, usually, when I think of anime or I think of, pop culture in that sense, okay, I think of, things like maybe Comic-Con or these events that have been, big giants, in this realm. When you compare kind of something like Comic-Con and Geekdom, how do you feel like they're the same, and how do you feel like they differ?
So I attended Comic-Con International many times, which is the largest Comic-Con in the world that takes place in San Diego. I attended different events around the world. The difference between them and Geekdom, that is, they are commercial, pure commercial. We're non-for-profit. The idea is to focus on grassroots. The idea is to focus on local talent, to develop them, and bring them up to international standards, that if those events or those companies come to Doha, the local community stands shoulder to shoulder with them. I want something like I believe in the youth, I believe in the local power, and the people are talented. They impress me every year. They impress me with every submission. I've seen so many people that shown amazing amount of growth from their initial participation to the latest years.
Yeah, and when you think about Geekdom as what it started, maybe it could have started as something where a lot of people were coming together to kind of share a passion. But from the back end, how was it like also trying to create a space that didn't just cater to people joining together, but as you said, kind of reaching a vision where people are developing? So what kind of resources were you thinking for them to be there, for them to help develop them further? Was that something within the plan, or did it just happen gradually?
No, it happened gradually because that was a passion of mine. So I was helping a lot of people because I enjoyed helping them. But slowly we started introducing workshops, to help them, introducing, talks, introducing connections, because I wanted to create that ecosystem, seeing those video game developers find the right partners, find the right mentors. It's essential for them to grow. And initially, that link was missing, and Geekdom slowly started creating it with partnering with Media City Qatar, with the Scale 7, Qatar Development Bank, Ulster City University, and many more partners. So it's like we're trying to help as much as possible. And I tell people, even if we don't offer the workshops, come talk to us. If enough people are interested, we'll create something for you.
Is there a particular project or business that was birthed through Geekdom that really stands out to you, that you're just this is the vision?
I mean, there are so many, the idea, because Geekdom doesn't focus on one sector, it's pop culture in general. We have amazing manga writers, we have artists, we have video game developers, we have board game creators. It's everything, you cannot say one, it's many. amazing cosplayers as well. You know, people like their costumes keep developing, and now they're representing Qatar in international events as well. So it's a phenomenon, to be honest.
And what role do you think, now that we're talking about cosplaying, what role do you think Geekdom has played in maybe breaking some of the stereotypes about people who are into geek culture or popular culture?
I mean, I remember the first cosplay competition we did was in 2013, which is the first edition. And I was so terrified because we did it in Qatar and in front of the amphitheater. And because it was so public, I was like scared that somebody will say something, you know, to have a backlash from the community. But it was very well attended. People were cheering for everybody. And it just warmed my heart to see people just enjoying, watching people showcase their passion and their craft on stage.
Actually, I wanted to tell you something, is that I went to this event at VCU where some of the students were actually displaying some of their like final year projects. And one of the projects was completely dedicated to creating kind of like a cosplay platform. And it was inspired by the feeling that that person had felt going to the cosplay events.
Oh, that's lovely. I didn't know about that project. I would love to see it.
I would definitely share that with you, because I thought, again, it's really cool to feel like something that is quote unquote niche maybe to some people, have a place and a home really in the country. Do you feel like there's also maybe an element of nostalgia that helps in easing this culture into Doha?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, like we all grew up watching anime that was dubbed into Arabic. A lot of us grew up watching Space Tune. And it just, you know, like one of the warmest segments in Geekdom is the karaoke. Like I've seen women in niqab singing karaoke. Like it was something that just like amazing for me, you know. And it unites a lot of people. Like the days that we have karaoke nights, so many people attend. And it's always like, you know, tough to find seats. So it's nice to see that the nostalgia aspect for people like that little kid in you is still there, you know, that wanting to come out and play. And people should nurture that kid.
And I'm curious to know, like, how did the karaoke thing come about? Because for me, actually, the first time I actually heard about Geekdom was through, like, I saw a video of, like, a group of people on a stage singing, like, literally the theme songs of my childhood. So I'm curious to know how it actually came about.
So again, like, it wasn't something that we programmed. On the first Otaku exhibition, two guys decided to get, like, when it was toward the end of the night, decided to get on stage and sing karaoke in Japanese for anime songs openings. I don't remember which one it was, but it was something that became very popular, that actually a lot of people started singing in Japanese. So we said, okay, there is something there, you know. So we kept playing more and more music, moving into Arabic old songs, you know, and just it became more, like something that people wanted. And then, you know, with the following editions, karaoke had its own room that, you know, we can do karaoke at night. And it was, it became very popular that the community demanded it to be part of the schedule.
I mean, I feel like, you know, something is working when people are asking you to keep it or to prolong it, which I think is a really good testament to the kind of the community that you guys are building. Another thing I heard, so there is Geekdom, but I've also heard recently of Geekend.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know, what is Geekend and why was it made?
So Geekdom is our annual event, which started in 2013. In 2022, we were allocated a building in Lusail. The building is core and shell, and it's nice to have the space dedicated for us to change and do whatever we want with it. And because we had the building year-round, we decided there is more to do with it. So we decided to come up with this concept called Geekend, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 times a year, to keep the community busy, to keep the community happy and engaged, you know, to do things, you know, gather, catch up. You know, it's a place that people just enjoy being in, whether they come to participate, whether to come to shop, to meet old friends, you know, to play, to be part of the esports tournaments, or just play board games in general.
You know, geek/fan community. Like I actually had a whole entire module in university about subcultures and fandoms and everything. And one of the common things that people talk about is this feeling sometimes of an outcast being a geek or this type of thing. My question to you is, based on your experience through Geekdom, have you felt like there's a particular moment or situation where you feel maybe people who don't feel like they belong in certain community have now found their space within Geekdom?
Oh, yes. A lot of people, I made a lot of friends through Geekdom. People that I met in 2013, they're still my friends. A lot of people that are into anime and pop culture, they found out about Geekdom late in life. And they're like, how come I didn't know about this before? I'm like, well, we're here, we always publicize and talk about the event as much as possible to get more people to join. And they made good friends. I've seen mothers with autistic kids that they came to me and said, I finally found a safe place for my son to have, to be himself and have fun, and people are nice to him. So it's like it became a safe environment because everybody came there to share their passion, not because they just want to kill time. And that's what makes Geekdom unique. That's what makes it a beautiful community event.
And I'm sure that there's definitely a feeling that you probably must have felt the first time Geekdom was live. Do you remember that feeling? And could you maybe tell us how it felt?
I felt proud. It was a very surreal feeling that the event wrapped up and it was a success and people enjoyed it and people felt happy. I love seeing people happy. I felt very proud. I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it.
I'm sure that you've been able to kind of definitely be a part of, an initiative that really has brought joy and inclusivity to a lot of people. And so what would you define as community? Now that you've seen Geekdom make its own, how would you define community?
That's a tough question. Because even within Geekdom, there is a lot of different communities. Even though they have a couple of members that they, cross paths and, and support each other in different ways. Community is just a group of people who are passionate about one thing or multiple things, and they're there to support each other. They're there to share a fandom. They're there to share different experiences. And that's a community for me.
And another thing that does actually stand out to me, given that I do watch anime a lot and I'm engaged in the Otaku community and everything, and how did you navigate maybe potential cultural sensitivities when it comes to actually doing Geekdom and having those? Because
I don't know. I say al-baraka wa du'a al-ummahat. That's the only thing I can say. Because we did get backlash. People who didn't understand what Geekdom is all about said it's a waste of time. It's a waste of government funds. Because they never took the time to understand what we actually do. They never took the time to understand what is the community is all about. It's for them, it's not much, but for us, it's Geekdom has been contributing to the Qatari and the creative economy in such a large way that we ask the participant to submit their sales, their numbers, just for us to keep records, to know how is the growth, how are things going, and the numbers are amazing. The numbers are impressive, and I'm happy people are being successful doing something that they're passionate about. Whether it's art, whether it's crafts, whether it's writing manga novels, whether it's cosplaying, whether it's esports as well. So
it's really just based on this conversation, when you were saying, I did finance because my dad told me to, but I knew my passion was somewhere else. It's really nice to see that to some degree Geekdom feels like an homage to that younger self of I hope that I can make sure that that's something that people can do as well for them. And
yeah, I consider myself very lucky, to be honest, because not many people get these opportunities. They can have a job and do their passion at the same time.
100%. Something that you mentioned that I thought was quite interesting is because, again, people might think Geekdom, okay, we're all coming together, we're talking about anime, but what's interesting that you mentioned was that there are a lot of businesses also that are coming out of Geekdom.
Yeah.
So I'd love if you could tell me a little bit about how that works and how does a business actually, a new business, come to Geekdom and find a way to grow itself?
Well, I mean, like they start as a hobby, a home project, We worked with different organizations, with like Qatar Development Bank, like with Media City, with the Scale 7, who helped artists, to learn how to set up businesses, do inventory. Because a lot of people, like how much is this? Like, 50 riyals. How did you reach that number? Did you actually do like the raw material? How much does it cost you? All these things. There's no, we just want to sell it, for 50 riyals. So we help teach them how to actually make it a profitable business, and it grew from there. We had companies, people start as a nickname, for a logo with a made-up name, and then they started a company afterwards, and now they have one of the largest shops for pop culture, selling cards, trading cards, pop Funko, all these things. It's amazing growth for them.
So again, just this is for a noob like me, but so you said Geekdom is, let's say, happens once a year, and then we have Geekends.
Yes.
And so you guys give practical advice to people who want to make kind of their passion project into a business.
Yeah, but that's year round. That's not...
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. This is something that basically goes on throughout the entire...
Yeah, basically because the events is for people to interact with each other. And we do panels, we do talks, to support, entrepreneurs and local businesses. But our doors are always open, our email, our Instagram. Like I had so many people... message me on DM, asking me about asking advice, and I managed to connect them with the right partner, giving them the right advice, because I want them to succeed. I want them to see them make it a profitable business.
It's so cool that it comes from a non-profit place to allowing the opportunity to that. And speaking of DMs, actually, which is what I wanted to get to, which is my most important question for today, is that I only knew you as Organiser before this podcast, and so I'm curious to know, when was that moment where you're like, okay, this is, I'm Organiser, I'm gonna own it?
I don't know when did the moment happen, but there is a lot of there is a lot of Abdullahs, there's a lot of Abdulla Al-Mosallam, but if you say Organiser, everybody knows me. It just became a nickname where people just, it's my favorite anime growing up, because Organiser held a lot of values for us when it comes to bravery, friendship, environment, and I'm still passionate about it, hence my little buddy joining us for the podcast here. My friends gave me that nickname and it stuck, and I enjoy it.
I think there's no better thing that matches the founder of Geekdom to be known as Organiser. Another thing I've heard about Geekdom, or something that happens within Geekdom, is the Gameathon.
Yes.
So what is the Gameathon?
So Gameathon, it's we did it last year in November. It was we wanted to do. We want to showcase the Qatari video games, the Qatari development community, and the Qatari video games that actually exist, whether in market or still in beta, where people can test and play Qatari video games. And we had about 11 games, which was very impressive. But we also wanted to bring in a lot of the community who are still at home coding. So we decided to do a Gameathon where on starting Wednesday, we give them a parameter of a game that they have to develop and submit by Saturday. And we had 4 judges from different organizations. And the winner got seed money investment from Media City Qatar, Scale 7, and an incubation plus a mentorship. And I was surprised by the number of people that participated, and I was happy to see that The winner actually continues to develop his game, and hopefully he's going to hit the market sometime, maybe in the following years. And I'm very excited for him.
That is such a cool concept. And like as well, I didn't expect the number that you were going to say was going to be 11 games being developed. That's honestly wild.
And that's what we were able to reach. I'm sure there is more.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Is there like a success story, especially particular to gaming, that you think about that comes to mind in terms of maybe a game that's already been released after coming to Geekdom?
Yeah, Night Escape from Mizan Studio. They showed the game in Geekdom 2022 in beta version. It's such a beautiful game. It got selected by Microsoft. It was showcased in Tribeca Film Festival in 2023, I believe, or 2024, and it won an award from Microsoft. And I think they're already out on Xbox. So like it's something that is a nice success story, that Qatar is being selected and participating in international festivals, competing with games from all over the world.
That is wild. Like that is really, really cool.
That's the beauty about Geekdom. It shed light on like a small community that not many people pay attention to.
Yeah. Do you know, like, I think most people do think that, like, I remember, at least for me, when I go on YouTube and I'm down my anime/Japan rabbit hole, I'm like watching the day in the life of a manga artist, and I'm like, I'm never going to find something like that here. But, it's really cool that there is talent and people who are actually pursuing these things. And maybe the thing that was missing was a space for them to shine.
Because when they see, and the beauty of that, when they see other people, other creators, they challenge themselves to develop as well. And that's what helps push people, to elevate their art, elevate their creativity, to move to the next level.
I mean, when you have a bunch of people have 3 days to code under the same parameters, you have to do it, whether you like it or not. And, I love the sentiment that Geekdom is kind of like, let's say, a melting pot of different communities.
Yes.
But I'm curious to see, to ask you how you feel the balance between kind of the professional development side of Geekdom, where there's actually businesses who are here to like really grow something, and people enjoying the culture and kind of just seeping in it. How do you make sure that those two things mesh together?
I mean, we cater for everybody. We make sure that, the fans are happy, and we make sure that the developers or whoever, like the entrepreneurs, get what they need. So every event we try to focus on one element, but we do everything for everyone at the same time, like when we do, like, for example, the talks, the contests, we try to focus on whether it's esports, whether it's video game development, whether it's cosplay, but it's like, despite the focus being that thing, it's for everyone as well.
Yeah. One of the most surprising things for me actually was I love board games. And I saw that there's a lot of board game competitions that happen. I think there was one at Geekend as well.
Yes.
And what shook me to my core was that my favorite board game ever, which is Settlers of Catan, I saw for the first time in the International Catan Championships,
yes,
the flag of Qatar there.
Yeah.
And I was like reading about it and saying, okay, like there are some people who are actually competing in Geekend to actually qualify internationally for things like that. Which
exactly, that was one of the first steps, for us to be part of the international board game community, where the winner in that tournament, get to represent Qatar. I think it was in Germany, if I'm not mistaken.
100%, yeah. And I know that it's not maybe the greatest question, but you have to ask. But do you feel like out of all of the, let's say, subcultures within the melting pot of Geekdom, is there like a community or an aspect that you enjoy the most?
This is very political.
It's like asking a parent their favorite child.
No, to be honest, like I always say, God didn't give me like a talent when it comes to singing, when it comes to writing, when it comes to drawing. I enjoy people just being creative. I enjoy, seeing what people come up with every time. Like, I always tell them, I get dibs on seeing everything and making sure I can buy the first things as soon as Geekdom or Geekend opens, because I love collecting things from different artists, and my house is becoming. I don't want to say a hoarder's place, but it's like it's a shrine more than anything into so many anime shows and pop culture and different arts.
I would call it a curated museum.
I'll use that going forward. Thank you.
And why do you think it is important to have a space like Geekdom to support like local developers and local artists?
Because if Geekdom did not exist, where would they go? They will still sell their art or showcase their art online, but then they'll have to get traffic to their page. Geekdom offered them that one-on-one with their customers. Like I saw so many people that stumbled upon artists that they never knew, and they follow their page. They buy things from them periodically, and just it became like a good business. Because they get the chance to be at Geekdom or Geekend and meet new customers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, again, it's like not just, I think it's very clear that it's also like a very nice networking, like, place for people to actually meet different creatives and different people who can really turn their ideas into kind of a tangible thing. But the question is, right, that is Geekdom now. Where do you see Geekdom in the next couple of years?
Okay, where do we see Geekdom next couple of years? Interesting question. Let's take a step back. So when my goal was to turn Geekdom into a center, not just an event that happens every 3 months or every year. I wanted to be open most of the week, to receive people, to help support incubate businesses, to have advisory, all that. So when we received the building, we teamed up with Virginia Commonwealth University to design a layout for the building. And very, very bright students came up with an amazing design where you can actually run 3 minor events at the same time without them interacting with each other. And that's like, I found that like so beautiful. And of course, the yearly event will have to move into, this has always been my dream, by the way, we'll have to move into QNCC. QNCC is like the target for Geekdom to be, because it has the exhibition space, it has the theater for music and screenings, and it has the meeting rooms for future business meetings for companies that wants to do one-on-one with people over there.
So basically the step forward is the initial thought and the step back.
Yes, yeah.
And I heard that there's actually now like a robotics actually surfacing into Geekdom, which is, I think, really cool. And what do you see that like integrating kind of robotics within Geekdom?
Like, I don't know if you're aware, but the Qatari robotics team is amazing. They win awards worldwide. And I think in 2013, I met one of the teachers at the science school for boys. And he invited me to see the Qatar Robotics Championship for schools. And when I went there, like it was like in Lusail multi-purpose hall. When I went there, it was filled with students, and all of them wore lab coats and carrying robots. I was just. Why? Like it was, for me, it was crazy because it's a dream, like it's something that I really geek over, and the competitions were amazing, and it was really thrilling. And we've been working with the school for the past 2 years to try and get them to participate, but because of scheduling and school year and other international competitions that they find as a priority, we never had them to join. And hopefully this year we'll have them be part of Geekdom.
And speaking of this year, what do you think, or what is the thing that you are, or the things that you're most excited about for Geekdom 2025?
I mean, we always like one of the challenging things is to raise the bar every event, to keep the people happy, and to change the layout to make sure everybody is comfortable. Just we improve the program every year, and hopefully we'll have something like very nice surprises this year that will have people look forward for every event going forward. Like there is a new step happening, just not finalized yet, but again, I cannot announce, but hopefully soon.
And when you said that, like the initial dream was to turn Geekdom into like a permanent center.
Yes.
You said that this would, what would be the role of Geekdom in that point? Because like, let's say Geekdom now is kind of this one-time stop where we're all coming together celebrating, but what would it mean if it was actually something that was permanent?
So, one, it will be an open space for people to hang out. There will be office space for people if they want to incubate, like start a business. We can offer them office space. There'll be advisory, doesn't have to be part of Geekdom, but if they come asking for something specific, we'll actually contract someone to be there for them, to support them, mentor them, whether locally or internationally, remotely. Fabrication lab for people who wants to develop something, create something. We have all the equipment that will be available for them to use. And multi-purpose halls, if people want to do a trivia night, when it comes to anime, it's available. Like we want to create a space for the community. I have so many people come and approach me saying that they cannot find space to hang out and play board games. They have to find a cafe, and the cafe has a minimum charge, and not everybody can afford paying, so it's always a hassle. For Geekdom can offer them that space.
Inshallah, one day in the future we kind of have a space like that really is like an enriching place to return to always.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people, those young creatives that come to Geekdom that are not maybe at Geekdom yet, but maybe will come to Geekdom this year, the ones listening today, what's the message that you have for them?
I mean, come. It's a safe space. It's fun. People are enjoying themselves. It's something unique, and it's something very special. Seeing people of all ages, seeing father and son bonding over things, challenges, trivias. It's. I cannot sum it up. Like if you want me to sum it up, it's really hard. But I promise them that they will have the time of their life in Doha.
And if I was someone that had an idea that I wanted to bring to life, how do I get in contact with Geekdom to actually make that happen?
I mean, reach out to us through email, through Instagram. My Instagram, geekdom.qa, organiser. We'll always help, we'll always support, we'll always guide them through the right channels. We can connect them with the right government entities that can help them set up or help mentor them. That's our goal, that's our passion, and that's what makes Geekdom unique, by the way. I have an amazing team. I really, really have an amazing team that is passionate about what we do. And they all share the same goals and values for Geekdom. And that's what makes Geekdom successful as well.
Well, alhamdulillah, wallahi, that's a lovely thing. I wanted to thank you for creating that space, for maybe all the kids that are watching anime now that don't have to think twice about whether they're going to talk about it, because you know what, there already is a Geekend, there's a Geekdom, there's everything. Inshallah, maybe later on the line, something permanent for people to actually go around. So I wanted to thank you very much for really making that same space. And it was a lovely, lovely, lovely conversation. And I really got to learn a lot from you.
Thank you so much for hosting me.